We need to play more cricket, but we have to find that balance between being in the business of cricket and being the custodians of cricket.
There's a lot of leagues over the world. Players are playing for 5-6 teams. How are we going to stay relevant?
If you look at the three franchises or unions that are doing well in South African cricket, you look at the Lions, you look at the Titans, you look in Durban. In South Africa as well, we don't have directors of cricket, and the CEO plays a dual role in terms of making sure the commercial side is going well, and at the same time the coach gets what he needs, and that in terms of players. So when it comes to contracts, the CEO there's a person that makes sure that the coach gets the players that they're looking for.
I think the CEO of the franchise sets the tone, sets the vision, and then on top of that, if you have a winning team, it brings in fans, it brings in crowds, and that kind of is something that's quite important, and the CEO needs to be able to support that vision in terms of getting bums and seats and getting extra revenue.
You mentioned obviously it's not necessarily something that you were planning to go towards, but it came to you. I mean, how were those days, and what have you taken from those early years to where you are today?
I literally started studying because I couldn't do my job. I remember coming out of a FinCom or AuditCom meeting, and I thought, like, I don't even know what's going on. It took me a year to realize I don't know that I don't know. So first year, it's easy looking back now, but you're trying so hard to prove people that your appointment is justified and you know what you're doing. You spend a lot of energy trying to convince people that you're good at what you do. But then after a year, I realized, I'm not. I did an MBA after. I started studying again because I realized I can't do my job. And I realized if I want to be a very good CEO, I need to study. But then I was so impressed that I'm actually passing that I kept going for 17 years.
Yeah.
So and then, you know, it led to academic career. And again, I think even if you ask my teachers that if this I could end up as an academic, they wouldn't agree to it.
I obviously studied a BCom applied sports management straight from school, and got a bit sick at the back end of that and went into coaching, and it just so happened that I got some opportunity in cricket. In 2003, I actually did my internship here during the World Cup and worked closely with Ali Bacher and a few of the 2003 Exco team. And in fact, worked under Natasha Stewart in the ticket office, where she was telling me to carry the boxes and run there and do that. And at the back end of that particular year, I bought a ticket to come and watch the Proteas play. I knocked on the change room door, and the then legend and late manager of the Proteas, Mr. Gulam Raja, opened the door and said, "What do you want, Sonny?" And I said, "I'm happy to just come and learn and grow and make the milkshakes and carry the bags." And he said, "Come in." And I think that's really where my journey began. I was with the Proteas for a long time as their change room attendant. I used to go and pick their wives up at the airports. I was really their skivvy and their go-to guy and the runaround boy. And that's what I did for many years. And then in 2009, I got my level 3 coaching certificate through Cricket South Africa. And then obviously I spent 11 years as National Talent Scout for Cricket South Africa, right up until October 2019, when I resigned from that role and took over the chief exec role here. And 5.5 years later, I've still survived that. So.
How's that been in terms of balancing both work and family life?
Yeah, I think I get my CEO job more right than I get my dad job right. And that's sometimes a hard pill to swallow and something that I need to reflect on. But there's sometimes where I get home at night and my daughter's sleeping, and I leave in the morning while she's still sleeping. And even though I've slept at home Monday to Friday, I've seen her maybe once in that entire week. And sometimes that's tough. I was saying to someone yesterday, my little baby Casey, she's 5, she said to me 2 days ago, "Dad, when are you going to fetch me from school?" And she's been asking me for ages, but her school finishes at like 12:30 in the day, which is like midday chaos. And it's tough to get out. And I fetched her once this entire year. So I promised her between now and breakup day, I'll fetch her again. But it's tough, Nono. And it is tough to balance, but you've got to do it. As a dad, as a father, as a husband, you've got to try and find that balance as best you can. Sometimes you get it right, sometimes you get it wrong. but you got to just get up every day and try your best.
Look, you choose what keeps you busy, and doing further studies is not the worst thing. So I look forward to it. You make time, you make time for things. Any chief executive, they are busy.
Yeah.
But for me, there's 7 days, there's 24 hours, it's a lot. You can decide how you spend it. I do try and play golf, and I try and braai every now and then. So it's not that I don't think I'll lose out because I study. I've never have.
Yeah.
No.
We see the likes of the DP World Lions, Momentum Multiplied Titans, the Dolphins, being one of the, I guess, the leaders when it comes to domestic teams in the country. How important for you, not just looking after the Titans, but looking after the ecosystem of South African cricket?
I think we need to challenge each other, both on and off the field. So both the Lions and the Dolphins have done exceptionally well. The Lions and Jono's commercially, they've done so well. I think, coming from there, I thought Greg Fredericksburg brought a lot of stability. It was always a sleeping giant. Jono Leaf-Wright's brought amazing commercial influence to it. He's really sold well. We all try and work together off the field, but when we lose in a final against the Lions, it hurts. So we sit and we're like, how do we beat the Lions? So that's setting a high bar, for us. We're blessed to have 62 partners here, and people like Pierre Jabez is so good at retaining sponsors. Like I said, it's a team, but it can't just be one union. It can't just be us or the Lions or the Dolphins. We need everybody to be as strong as they can be, and to be administered better, as good as they can. We all get hurt collectively. If there's unions that don't do well governance-wise, we all put in one. I thought Cricket South Africa has turned the corner. I think there's a lot of stability there. There's a lot of good people there, which is great to see. I do think they are still judged wrongly on sins of the past, if you like, but there's good people there. There's people that try. So I've worked both sides of the fence, national and I can tell you now, Cricket South Africa is much better off.
A lot comes down to us being in the business of cricket, and from a union perspective and a Cricket South Africa perspective, aligning on making sure that we really promote the domestic game, both marketing wise and commercially, to ensure that there is money being invested into our domestic circuit and into the domestic game. I would like to see more domestic cricket played. I don't believe we can produce world-class test cricketers with only playing single round 4-day cricket at domestic level. T20 cricket, one could argue, well, it's single round T20, 7 matches plus SA20, it's enough. I still think double round at domestic cricket is needed, but that comes with a cost, and the unions unfortunately can't afford everything, and neither at the moment can Cricket South Africa. And it's finding that funding model that works, where both the unions and Cricket South Africa can find a sweet spot from a sustainability point of view that can really drive the game forward. And that may mean a little bit of a shake-up in the current model of domestic cricket. It may mean a little bit of remodeling and how things are currently done or executed on. But certainly once we find that sweet spot and we make sure that our ultimate goal is to produce not only great domestic cricketers, but great international cricketers that can win us World Cups, I believe we're going to be going down the road where we can all get to celebrate in 2027, holding the World Cup trophy here at the DP World Wanderers in the final of the World Cup in 27. We need to play more cricket, but we have to find that balance between being in the business of cricket and being the custodians of cricket. And I think that's probably at the moment where the gap is, and the gap is too big at the moment to ensure we're producing world-class cricketers that can win us World Cups. And I think we need to find that balance between being in the business of cricket and being the custodians of it. And once we find that balance where we can drive more cricket at domestic level, play more competitive cricket at domestic level, I believe we'll start to win more World Cups in the years to come. And certainly if you look at the performances of our Protea team, they've done well. I mean, our women have won been in 2 World Cup finals. Our men have recently been in a World Cup final. So it's not like we're not producing top cricketers. We're in the mix of the World Test Championship. So it's not like we're not competing. But I honestly believe that we can really dominate if we get the domestic circuit right, and we start to really get the balance right of what's sustainable from a longevity point of view for South African cricket and what's needed to deliver the excellence and the high performance we need to win World Cups.
Your mindset strategically now is how we're going to get through the changing landscape, and it's changing quite rapidly, and how we're going to stay relevant now there's a lot of leagues over the world. Players are playing for 5-6 teams. How do we mitigate the negative aspects of franchise cricket around the world? How do we do it? How do we stay relevant? So that keeps us awake, and keeps us on our toes, and that's what you got to do. You know, we can't keep on building ox wagons when there's a car. So we got to build cars now.
Everyone watches international cricket. How much domestic cricket do you watch?
Honestly, not too much. I'm not the biggest cricket fan. I have to be honest, I'm here for the beers.
I enjoy the longer format actually on the domestic side, 4-day cricket. It's a lot more entertaining, or a lot more, how can I say, like an art. And you know, we've got the N1 here on Supersport Park, so it's great to watch like a guy like the Zorzi or someone getting 100 after 100.
In terms of domestic cricket, do you watch any, and why do you come?
I think it's like I come here because there's nice girls, you know, and I just enjoy the vibe, and it's nice to see some friends, and it's great cricket performed here.
Yeah, domestic cricket or international cricket?
For me, domestic cricket all the way. I love the IPL, I watch it every time, so I love cricket.
And how much cricket have you watched of the Titans? Why is domestic cricket so special to you?
So I watch it a lot because I can see young talent and I can learn from it a lot. So I get a lot of inspiration, like Ngaba Peter and from where he was coming and where he's now. So I really got a lot of inspiration there, and to see the young players grow out of coming out of schools and playing in the real world is
I watch a lot of domestic cricket. I support the Titans. I've played for the Titans as well, under 19, under 17, and I love watching the young gents coming through the domestic cricket and having a chance to make it to international cricket.
It's very nice, so I like it very much, and the food is very lekker.
And there's international cricket and there's domestic cricket. How much cricket have you seen before?
I've been here 2 times.
Okay, nice. And what brought you here?
I went somewhere there.
Okay.
Yeah.
You don't even watch cricket. What brought you here today?
Vibes.
Vibes.
Yeah.
International cricket, domestic cricket. How much
I watch
domestic
both.
cricket you watch?
We watch a lot of domestic. My daughter's involved actually with the KFC mini cricket, so she is actually one of the ball girls today.
Yeah.
So we don't miss a game. We live around the area, so this is our hope.
International cricket or domestic cricket?
International.
Why?
I don't really know the teams in domestic cricket, so that's why I was interested.
The most, I think, international cricket, because other teams come together and you see other people, just a big gees. Yeah.
Not sure how many of you are aware that we're almost 3 competitions away from the World Cup in 2027. Because the 50 over World Cup is coming, and this competition is a very key tool to getting us and preparing some of our players to that. What is very vital for us is that at domestic level, we're not playing enough cricket. And the biggest contributor to that is access to financial resources. Because I think over time you will realize that we've never had a sponsor for domestic competitions. And with the performances of the Proteas currently in terms of how they're progressing, there's appetite for commercial partners out there now wanting to ask about the various properties, and they see the relevance of where we're going to. What is critical as well is just to make sure that we continue soldiering on and keeping the domestic cricket side of things healthy, because I think we've just came back out of a successful SA20 competition, the 3rd edition, and everybody has seen the level of cricket that has been played there. And the important thing is that that level of cricket cannot be attained if the domestic cricket doesn't have a sound base and the players that can be able to graduate from there into the SA20. So the domestic competition are a pillar and a strength for our processes, and we need to make sure that we facilitate that process intensely.
Professionalism does get tested. Getting up for each game when there's not a lot of attention being paid to the games and not a lot of attendance in the stands. It can be quite challenging at times, especially when the season does get a bit long. But as a professional, you've just got to deal with the fact that the most important part of the job is winning the match in front of you. As a group, we've sort of embraced that quite nicely, with a lot of our players being involved with SA20. So quite a few players have faced that challenge within our team, and I'm sure a lot of players within the domestic setup have as well.
It's very unfair for these guys to be playing at empty stadiums. We need to be progressive rather than be reactive to where we want domestic cricket to go. And I feel with the expertise that we put there, we probably would get to a point where we start not doing things in terms of a ticket box, but we could have a strategies of bringing people back. Because I think one thing which is totally unfair to us is that when you look at the bulk of the cricket cost, it's almost like a CSA expense predominantly at this point in time, with lesser commercial partners being involved. And that doesn't sometimes allow you to be able to impact the space the way you want to, or even have enough budgets to exercise around the commercial or the marketing side of the game. But I think we can learn a lot from how SA20 has done it. What is quite encouraging for me with the SA20, it doesn't bring the normal person who wants to watch cricket. It brings a person who's there for entertainment. And the players see the value that they are more or less also entertainers. Besides them enhancing their skills, then we need to find that balance to say now, how do we cater for the normal traditional person who wants to consume cricket, but also look at the way we do cricket as well? Because currently I can watch and follow all domestic games from the comfort of my room, over my phone, over the laptop, because the games are streamed. But that is not the experience that we want. We still want people to come to the games, and we still want people to come and support. And with our marketing team, we will, and the help of the CEOs, we will find a mechanism that we can work closely with to be able to bring people back to come and support these players.
Look, I think players, and as you know, would want to play in front of crowds. So that reflects on the product itself. And to be fair, we're cannibalizing the product. You know, there's more rugby fixtures, there's more soccer fixtures, there's more cricket fixtures, and we're overlapping in terms of the content. There's also very good content in the SA20. It's fantastic content and bilateral content. So people migrate to the most entertaining form or offering. But, you know, there's an absolute obligation to keep your domestic product alive, and because players need a pipeline, and they need to play under pressure. So I guess it's worth playing in a high pressure game where it's well supported and you've got the crowds, and then you end up in the SA20 and then in the or move on to international cricket. So one needs that as well. Plus there's history involved, you know. So I know you know, the players enjoy the support here. Our players come to us. Also, I think a compulsory signing session afterwards. And we've all played the game. Sometimes that's the worst thing to do after, you know, close game, you lost, you're not happy, and people line up. But we are thankful that we are well supported here. And Cricket South Africa, I think, has recognised that you know, the CSA Challenge T20 needs support, and they've put in a lot of efforts, and hopefully that'll come back. I think the September window is really where it should be.
I want to see more domestic cricket played. I want to see our players having more opportunity to play the game at the highest level, and making sure that we can continually produce Proteas. I mean, people often say to me, what is my job here to do from a player perspective? Yes, it's to win trophies for Lions. Yes, it's to produce top quality cricketers for Lions, but it's actually to produce cricketers for the Proteas, and Proteas that can win World Cups. For me, and I've said it to my schoolboy cricketers, I've said, like, I'm not really that interested that you're the best player at a particular school, or the best player at Lions, or the best player within South Africa. If we want to compete and win World Cups, you need to be the best in the world.
Everybody at this point in time speaks about T20 cricket because of the leagues and everything. But these players can only learn their trade in 50-over cricket, and as well as in 4-day cricket. And we need more games at that level. And we're trying to navigate. And you see now that our seasons are longer now. We previously used to finish off our season around about March. Now it drags on to April. It affects the contracting windows and other issues. So the important issue for us is now to find it somewhere to be able to play more 4-day cricket, and find a mechanism to play more of that, because at least at an average, if you can have every team playing at least 10 4-day games, that is will assist us in the strides of trying to make sure that we can stick up to the level of where we are in the. I mean, we were privileged to qualify for the Test Championship, but the issues which is very vital, it mustn't be a once-off wonder. We still need to keep the Test team competing, and 4-day cricket is very vital to that.
The trophies is something that's currently not there, but we've always been the leaders in domestic game. Where is the Titans union as we speak right now?
We need to get trophies, and we'll always be that kind of province that's expected from us to produce Proteas through our pipeline, and then of course also to win trophies. That will always be important.
If you look at over the last 5.5 years, we've won 9 professional domestic trophies. We've won Sports Organisation of the Year. We're in the Gauteng Sports Awards final this year, and we've had some really good support from sponsors and other, bringing on global partners like DP World, McDonald's, Enza, Fidelity, I mean so many more that have just, Mahindra more recently, Sani. I mean, there's just so many people that want to partner with us. And it's not only because of the trophies we win on the field, but because of the impact we create off it. We're a value-driven organization. We're not only about producing these great cricketers on the field, but great human beings off it and those people that can impact society. And I think all those values and those lessons I've learned from literally making the milkshakes in the players' change room, to cleaning the shoes, to fetching the players' wives. And I've often said to people, sometimes attracting a partner is easier than retaining a partner. And I think what we've proved over the past 5 years is that we are able to, one, attract partners, but we're also able to retain partners. And that's why you've got the likes of DP World renewing for another 5 years, the likes of McDonald's South Africa renewing for another 3 years, and all renewing their partnerships. And that's because of the value that they've got in the first phase of the partnership, the value that they've seen in the first phase of the partnership, and the delivery that they've seen from us as Lions Cricket, not only with the amount of trophies that we've won and the brand that they've seen here at the iconic DP World Wanderers, but because of the impact that we've driven within communities and within society as we've uplifted and grown lives.
And your women's side, I mean, it started particularly well, top 2 in both formats. How important is that for you as well to ensure that both teams are growing really well and obviously challenging for those trophies?
The pipeline in the women's game is really expanding so beautifully. I mean, we've got under 10s and 11 girls festivals and competitions happening now. So the base of the girls' game is just broadening so beautifully within our school system. And it's something that we really are intentionally trying to drive. And if you look at how we've tried to drive that equity, both for the men and the women, in the way we've done things from a look and a feel, from a kit point of view, from the opportunity that we've given both teams, the support. I mean, both teams have an analyst, both teams have a physio, both teams have a doctor, both teams have an S&C. So it's not like the men have this and the women don't. We've tried to drive that equity to try and elevate the women's game in our province. So certainly I'm seeing some great things happening, and I'm very excited to see what this women's team does in the weeks, months and years ahead. We've got Proteas like Tasman Brits, Tumisa Kukuni, Ayabonga Kaka, Chloe Trowan, and many others.
Women's cricket for us has become very, very important. We want to sell shares in our women's team. We want to privatize our women's team. We're proud of where we've gone with them. We haven't done enough, but you know, we've also secured fantastic new sponsors. I think we neglected the women. I'll be the first to say that. We are rectifying it as far as we can. And you know, the region's got to look in the mirror and say, you know, why is there not a pipeline for women? You know, I still think women are a group that is neglected, and there's a lot of reasons not to embrace it. The way the Protea team is playing, you can have a career, you can play all over the world, you know, it is a serious career, you know, and we've seen how popular it is. So for me, there's got to be more opportunities for young girls to play cricket.
Dr. Jacques Faul, thank you so much for sharing your time and your experience with us. All the best to you and the Deep World Lions.
Thank you, Nono, and keep doing the great work that you and your team are doing, and thanks for telling our story. I'm going to leave you with 4 words: live, love, learn and lead. And let's make sure as we grow cricket in this province and in this country that together we keep living, we keep loving, we keep learning and we keep leading. So thank you very much for your time, and thanks for the opportunity to chat.